electricity saving and electrical safety in your induction stove usage. This is the need of the hour, and practically speaking, how much practically we can save the electricity, as well how much the electrical safety can be ensured in our induction stove usage in our kitchen. We will go in depth as such. To start with, let us first know the induction stove, the rating of the induction stove and whether it is performing as per the rating. Let us, you just stand in front of your EB incoming meter in your house premises, switch off all your fans, tubes, fridge and other UPS, all the gadgets in your house, switch on only the induction stove, that is 2000 watt rated, let us say, and run it at maximum just by boiling the water. Record the kilowatt, volts and amps, and refer the induction stove OEM's nameplate, check for any deviation and discuss with the OEM if there is any deviation is there. See that the voltage before and after the induction stove is switched on, the voltage must not drop. Please ensure that there is no voltage drop in your house premises up to the kitchen. Also in the morning hours, just record the same just by switching on your geyser in the bathroom. It is also around 2000 watts, let us say. By switching on and off separately, whether the same voltage drop is happening, just confirm the voltage drop is not happening or is within the limits as such. Induction stove usage has improved upon the practices with reference to the LPG stove. The PCRA, Petroleum Conservation Research Association, it gives around 30% LPG savings in the cooking efficiency only in the using the LPG stove, and the same thing it can be deployed in the induction stove also. The same 30% electricity savings also can be seen in the cooking efficiency. Normally said, the induction stove efficiency is around 80%, whereas the LPG stove efficiency is around 40%. The efficiency difference is primarily achieved because the bottom only heating in the induction stove, that is the main critical point where the heat is transferred directly at the bottom to the vessel, to the food instantly, and the energy savings is achieved by the efficiency improvement in the induction stove, thanks to the LinkedIn posting here. The electrical safety to be followed in the induction stove cooking. Normally, in general, typical of any Indian kitchens, around 1600 to 2000 watts is the induction stove is used here. Some of the recent stoves that has been promoted now is around 1200 watts only, and this step is very much welcome and it is appreciated. But for any of your induction stove usage, always go for a 15 amp socket and not a 5 amp socket, grounded socket. It should have a ground in for the usage as such, connection usage. It should be exclusively used for this induction stove. If 2 or 3 more sockets are there in the same switchboard, use only one at a time when you are using the induction stove. When you are using the induction stove, only one socket to be used here. Also, while using the induction stove, pre-cooked menu options always automatically ramp to the load to the 2000 watts maximum for fast cooking. Please manually reduce it to 1000 watts for slow cooking to match to the kilowatt that is allotted to your house, as well subject to the wiring restrictions as such. Million thanks to the 6-decade-old PCRA, Petroleum Conservation Research Association, under the Ministry of Oil and Gas, has researched and guided the housewife to save around 30% LPG in the cooking practices only. The same thing we are trying for the electricity savings in the induction stove as such. I am just listing the critical energy efficient cooking practices using a pressure cooker, and that too with separators in the pressure cooker, that is multi-foods can be cooked in one time as such. And always cover the vessel with the lid as such, and prepare all your food items ready and keep it ready before cooking. And try this one pot meals, all the multi nutrients, all the multi cooking items to be kept in one pot, and one pot meal is also recently many of the citizens are using it now. Always plan for a low flame and a smart cooking in your induction stove as such. The housewife needs to change her cooking vessel to match to the induction stove. See, induction stove OEM always gives a circular marker on top, so that the vessel also needs to match the size. If the vessel is narrow or extra broad, automatically the cook time is longer and it takes extra power. Manually set your induction stove to 800 to 1000 watts to ensure cooking quality as well as avoid the food burning also. By setting this, power is pulsed to the and given to the stove, and this prevents the failure rates of the induction stove. old house and wiring weak and in peak morning hours, the induction stove needs to be used wisely as such. Don't allow the water to get stagnated at the bottom of the stove and it is hazardous. Clean the stove ventilation holes routinely with toothbrush so that no cobwebs are there and the ventilation is always clean and there is no obstruction in the ventilation to the stove as such. When you are planning for using a pressure cooker in your induction stove, instead of going for a 5-liter cooker, you can go for a 3-liter cooker also for your 2 or 3 member family. Say for a 1 member family, instead of a 3-liter cooker, 1-liter cooker is enough. See, this is the rational thinking and rational usage of consistently educating the consumer and update the consumer about the cooking rational usage. That is also important. How to avoid the breakdown in your induction stove and safely use it now? Induction stove failure rates are more when your area faces frequent power cuts. You just visit your appliances repair shop in your locality and you find the failed induction stoves are stacked in a big way. In frequent power cuts which happen in your area, always use your induction stove at half the power only, say around 1000 to 1200 watts. When the power cut happens, don't keep the hot vessel on top of the induction stove. First remove it and turn the induction stove upside down and manually fan the bottom holes to dissipate the heat, because normally the induction stove is meant for needed extended cooling. They are supposed to have a extended cooling even after the stove is stopped. As long as the stove induction is on, the fan must definitely work, and even when the induction is off, the fan needs to work for a preset time after that and it needs to stop as such. So, if this is not happening in the power cuts, you can just think of an add-on gadget so that to the existing stove to extend the cooling in case of power cut. Also, the new stoves can be planned for an add-on rechargeable DC power to the fan. Only during the power cut, this will definitely come online as such. Smarter cooking start with a pressure cooker, and that too when you are doing the multiple dishes in one pressure cooking. The important point is, once the first whistle has come, always shift to the medium flame. That is what the LPG slogan told by the oil marketing companies. Let us apply this to induction stove. Always start with manually low power settings, say around 1000 watts or 1200 watts, and once the first whistle has come, you can come down to 600 watts or 800 watts to suit your food and taste as such. Electrical safety to be followed in the induction cooking. See, no empty vessel to be kept on top, as well as go for a magnetic compatible SS stainless steel or iron or cast iron etc. vessels. Being the electronic circuits inside the induction stove, do not keep the induction stove near any hot temperature surroundings. Always don't clean the hot cooktop with water immediately after use. The glass plate may break also. The stove's top glass plate needs to be cleaned and dirt or food spills to be cleared immediately, because whatever the dirt or food spills in between, that reduces the heat transfer from the induction cooktop to the vessel as such. The induction stove also needs to be used in the prime morning hour of the day. So, at that time, please avoid using your AC or geyser or mixie or grinder when you are using the induction stove, because multiple electricity consumption definitely it will disturb your electrical distribution in your house as such. Typical cooking electricity usage of 2000 watts in the induction stove, you can see around for first 15 minutes full time cooking it takes almost 5 to 0.7 units, whereas simmering or low heat cooking for 20 minutes it takes only around 0.3 to 0.5 units only. A typical meal almost takes around 1 to 1.5 units. So, always plan for low medium heat setting and instead of full power wherever it is possible. To the maximum possible, try to go for a low power settings only. Thanks to the useful tips from Wipro Appliances and this Stovepedia, this one blogs, and the table shows the first two set points where we have used around 500 to 800 watts for reheating or defrosting or warming of milk and water, and for 80 to 100 degrees centigrade, 800 to 1200 watts slow cooking or boiling, that can be used here, and even for pressure cooking also. Electricity safety in induction cooking. After the induction cooking, make use of the residual heat that is there, slowly heat is retained, that can be made use of it. Normally the maximum permissible weight in our homes, if a typical 2000 watts induction stove is around 5 kgs, means the cooking vessel weight plus the cooked items like boiling water or whatever it may be, it should not exceed the 5 kg rated capacity. If the stove is getting overloaded, if the overloaded with a higher weight of the cooked item and vessel, then the glass plate may get damaged. So plan to keep the stove in an elevated platform, say around 10 centimeters above the non-metal surface, and allow a minimum free space of 10 centimeters all side to have a better ventilation all the times when you are using the stove. And 1 millimeter of salt scaling either inside or outside the vessel, this will increase your cooking time by 10%. The induction stove OEM always gives a circular display on stove top for efficient cooking. The same thing needs to be deployed in the LPG stove as well. So the compatible vessel always ensures quick heat transfer of food from the induction stove to the vessel as such. The vessel needs to be flat and broad bottomed and matched to the circular display. This is more important in the induction stove. And the way forward towards the induction and LPG stove mix cooking nowadays, 33 core families of India, 60% of the LPG is imported and 90% is consumed towards the domestic consumption only. It is high time that induction stove takes a center stage in the kitchen, and more work can be done using the induction stove than the LPG stove. That is why this 1200 watts cooking in the induction stove is vigorously promoted now. The ministry or the departments or the authorities need to work together to promote this 30% LPG savings in energy savings in LPG as well as in the electricity savings in the induction stove. Energy education is normally half done in the energy conservation, that is practically observed. A small burner medium flame in the LPG and a manual low power setting in the induction is the need of the hour. It is going to be the mandatory settings we have to follow now. The induction stove is used by millions, and let us not load the grid in the morning peak hours of the day. Thank you, thank you, thank you.